readers, my old friends. I'm experimenting with camera angles again. Oh, what is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? So currently I have a dilemma. One of them is my right hand is somehow colder than my left hand. It's very strange. The other dilemma is more bookish related. Actually, it's tag-ish related because we're doing tags. It's Tag Tuesday, like you do. So I was deciding whether to do the very kind of popular now tag about tags book tag, or if I wanted to do the tag I had scheduled for today, the fit for reading tag, because you know I work out at a gym now, so I'm like the most qualified, I'm the most qualified person to talk about being fit for reading. So my brain had like one of those momentarily very rare burst of genius and decided to do both. We're gonna do the tag about tags first, because it's really more, it's not like a typical tag like talking about, oh, what book fits this prompt. It's more of a deeper dive into the nature of tags. And then we'll get into the regular fit for reading book tag, which is very fun looking. Even though I've never done any of these exercise things. Zumba, oh my gosh, burpees. I hate burpees. Had to do those in soccer all the time. You were the last person to finish your running laps. You had to do burpees. I haven't done one in a while, so my brain is like, okay, do you jump up or do you do a jumping jack? But anyways, you have to do some type of jumping motion. Then you fall back to the ground, you do a push-up, and that push-up catches you. Make sure you don't smack the ground with your face. Do the push-up, then you jump back up into the air. Do you think my noodle arms back then could have caught my whole body weight as I came crashing down to the ground? No, I hit my face many times. Anyways, time for the tag about tags tag. First question, tag first. Did you do the Booktube newbie tag? I did, and I did the Booktube newbie tag 2.0 very recently. But it wasn't my first video, and it may not have been even my first tag. I'm gonna scroll into my contents. The first video I did was 5 questions readers hate. It was like my own little list video, and I did skits about it too. One day I will delete that video because it's cringy. However, it has many views and many likes, and I'm all about those numbers, so I'm probably not gonna delete it. I don't know. It's a conflict of interest. But let's see. I did a Lord of the Ring video, a book haul, bunch of Lunar Chronicles stuff, lots of reviews, TBRs, a get ready with me, more wrap-ups, more TBRs, and then finally, like March, April, May, 4 months after I started my channel, I finally did the Booktube newbie tag, which is probably why my channel was very slow to grow at first. So I always recommend that people start with the Booktube newbie tag, because there's people out there like me who searches for that particular video to welcome people into the community, and that's how people know you. That's how they find you super easily first. And yeah, that's part of the first question. Do I choose to watch Booktube newbie tags all the time? I watch them daily. So I just remember how I felt when I did my Booktube newbie tag. Like I said, I wasn't getting like any interactions on my channel before. My videos weren't doing that good. Barely anyone commented. Then I did the newbie tag, and then suddenly people were just coming to me and they were leaving comments. And I actually felt like now I had stepped into a community. Number 2, tag emotions. What feelings do tags provoke in you? Do tags invoke feelings from you guys? Like, I guess I feel happy because I'm making a video, but it's not like a tag question has ever like made me feel anything else, like, oh, a great sense of remorse or some other dramatic loathing for something. Am I just heartless? I mean, yes, but am I this heartless? I guess instead of like feelings, it just makes me think. Makes me have to go back in time in my brain and figure out what I actually read throughout my life. Do I feel tag joy and delight, or tag boredom and resentment? Neither? Tag guilt or anxiety? Tag envy? What is this? Is tag guilt just that feeling like, oh, it's not really that creative because it's just answering questions someone else made? And you know, tags are easy to do, but they're also fun. You know, like when you were a teenage girl, you would get those pink and brightly colored teenage magazines that they have like the boyfriend quiz and stuff in that. Like, what fashion style? Winter, autumn, or fall? Those are the same season. I'm stupid. Which fashion choice suits your body type? Stuff like that, those quizzes. What celebrity boyfriend are you going to marry? Those little cringy teenage quizzes. That's what tags are, and we still love them. I lived for those magazine quizzes. They're just fun. So I don't feel tag guilt, anxiety, envy, boredom, resentment. Is it okay just to say that I feel normal with a tag? Maybe this was the wrong tag to do with me. I'm an emotionalist statue. Top 3, tag favorites. What kind of tags do you like most and least? To do and to watch. There is one tag out there that I think it might actually be the International Booktuber tag. Let me see. If I'm right and it has the questions that I think it does, then I don't like that tag. I need to look this up real quick so I can explain. Because the tag I'm thinking of, it has like the most basic questions that you'd ask on like a first date. Like, how old are you? Are you a sibling? If so, what sibling order do you come in? It's either that or the get to know me tag. No, it's not the International Booktuber tag. That's good because I like that tag. Because, you know, meeting international people. That's dope. Then what's that tag called? It has to be the get to know me book tag. Why don't people, I'm trying to find it, why don't people link the original creator in their descriptions? I am like swimming through people who do not even list the questions in their descriptions. Okay, seems like that original video does not exist anymore. I can't find it. But I know I see it all the time. I just don't know the name. What is it? Whatever this tag is, it just has like the basic like autobiography questions. How old are you? Siblings. And the reason I probably don't like that one, whatever it's called, is because it's not really about books. I mean, I would like to get to know you, but I feel like these questions, these prompts, are usually answered in all the other videos I've watched of you. I don't know. That's the one tag where I'm like, nah, no thanks. I love watching AuthorTube newbie tags. There's not a lot of those out there. A lot of Booktube ones, but not a lot of AuthorTube ones, so I make sure I especially support those. Tag style. How do you tag? Do you have a system for keeping track of when you are tagged or tags you plan to do? Usually if I'm watching people and I'm either looking for Booktube newbie tags or I'm watching the people in my subscription list and they do a tag I've never heard before, I've done myself, I'll click like save to watch later. So my watch later list is filled with the tags I want to do eventually. So that's how I keep track of what I want to do. And also if I get tagged by someone, same thing, I just put it on my watch later. And I remember I used to just like tag maybe one person, but now I don't tag anyone. I'm just like, anyone wants to, do this tag. And I've made my own original tags and challenges, and if I do that, then I do tag people. I did that with my First Line Buy challenge, I did that with my Twilight Zone book challenge, no, not book challenge, Twilight Zone book tag. I even made a Stranger Things 3 book tag, and I actually already have a new idea for a new book tag too. I'll do that one day. Do you prepare to do tags or just wing it? I wing it because I don't want to know the questions already. It'll probably make it easier for me to get done with this and make it easier in editing too. But I like the actual thinking and seeing my expression as I'm trying to get my brain actually working on camera. Tag memories. Of all the tags you have watched, done, or created, which have stuck in your memory? Are there any you would like to revisit or revive? You know, we always, like as a collective Booktube community, we always revive the like mid-year freakout thing, the mid-year freakout tag. We always do that one. So that's definitely one that's going to be revisited and revived. The one that sticks out in my brain was actually the Booktube newbie tag. The one that's currently on my channel was the second take. So the first one was horrible. Not because I was awful. No. Like literally what I said in the first clip, the first take, is exactly what I ended up saying in the second take. But first thing, I wanted to film outside for some reason, so I took my little crappy camcorder and the crappy tripod attached to it that's kind of like bent at an angle like this. I took it to a gazebo. I sat down in the middle of the gazebo. I thought it would look really cute, but there was like a glare because I was facing the sun because I wanted that natural light on me. So I couldn't see my face in the viewfinder and I really couldn't tell if I was like in frame. But when I got done recording, I went back to the house, and not only what I was in frame, I was too much in frame. My face was like right here. Also, you could barely hear me because you have like cars and birds all over the place in the background. And also, I was actually experimenting with makeup back then, and I had tried like, I think it was contouring, like my jawline, or maybe it was highlighting, but the guide that I watched told me to make little dots down my chin and my jaw, and then just like smear it in. However, I had forgotten to smear it in. So in that video, I just had like these dots of makeup all down my jaw. So yeah, that one left. So the best memory I have of a book tag is a book tag that has been deleted. And now we'll take a small break from these tags because we finished that one and now I need to rehydrate. Kombucha, baby. This is not a sponsored video, but they should sponsor me because I drink a lot of this. And let's just say 2% of their profits is probably me. I love kombucha and none of my friends do because you're literally drinking bacteria when you're drinking this, but it's delicious bacteria. It's probiotics, makes your tummy happy and healthy. This is the spring edition Synergy Bloom elderflower, jasmine, and violet. It makes me feel like I'm like sitting in a castle and my maid just like made me this really fancy tea or something. It also tastes like a fruit roll-up. Kombucha naturally has this occurring alcohol in it because it's just part of the process, but it's so little. But apparently, regardless of all my body fat, I am a lightweight because even though this is like so teeny tiny bit of alcohol, my legs just go crazy tingly. Something could be wrong with me. I don't know. Still tastes delicious. Okay, on to the fit for reading book tag. Should I like exercise while I do these questions? No. First up, Zumba. Name a twist and turny book that was fun to read. So, this prompt, I wanted to think of a thriller because that's like the epitome of a twisty and turny book. However, the thing that like jumped out into my mind was The Goldfinch by Donna Tart. I don't know why I gave this book a 3. I actually do know because I wasn't that fond of the ending, but I still love that book and I am going to reread it because I loved it. Oh my gosh. That was a book I literally talked to. Like when stuff happened, I was like, what? No. I remember going, no, because something happened, a twist and turn that I knew was going to ruin our main character's life or take it on a path that wouldn't be healthy for him. That's what happened. It wasn't healthy for him. That book had me hooked. It was so much fun. It's like the biggest contemporary book out there. It's literally just this kid's life. The Goldfinch is about Theo Decker. Now Theo, he was a little boy like most men were, or still are. Yeah, that's right. And he loved his mama. One day, Mama and Theo went to this museum and it got bombed. Terrorists. Everyone died except Theo. So his mama died too. And as he was escaping the museum, he stole a painting while he was escaping. I can't remember why he actually stole this painting. I think like it was the only thing to survive with him, so he was like attached to it, or like it was still the only thing that survived and he just didn't want it to get like further like crushed by the crumbling debris or I can't talk, alcohol. He didn't want the painting to get damaged, so he took it with him and he's been hiding that really expensive painting for the rest of his life. So the remainder of the book is either just him living his life, his poor life, or it's him like trying to figure out what to do with the painting. Should he turn it in? But he stole it when he was like a kid. So he thinks that if he turns it in, he's gonna get arrested. So he just holds on to it for a long time and tries to find new hiding places for it. Super good book. Donna Tart managed to do a lot of description, but not make it rambly or boring. Like, I usually don't like books that are set in New York City because every book seems to be set in New York City, especially thrillers. But she actually made it sound like, I was about to say an actual place. It is an actual place, but I actually got the feel of it. Not like the glitz and glam, but like little crooks and crannies of it. It was very intimate, and I like that. Number 2, CrossFit. What was the most intense book you've read? Lies of Locke, Lamora. You guys remember how I cried in that book? I have a full review up for it. Go read it. I mean, it's just like the Grim Reaper came around, and he was handing out death like free samples. Like, here you go. Here, it's peppermint flavored. Here, yum yum, eat up. That book tore open my soul and poured gasoline on it and threw a match into it. It was delicious. Also, that book was very inventive with death. How do most people die in books? A gun, a sword, asphyxiation, poison? No, you had people being like stuffed into a barrel and pickled in horse urine. That is inventive. Maybe I'll try that one day. Number 3, Burpees. A book you hated. I'm not going to say Kafka on the Shore. I'm not, because I've given that book too much of my time, attention, and thoughts. I'm going to think of a new awful, horrible, disgusting book to name. You know what? I'm gonna do something kind of broad. It's when books and the characters in books unintentionally or intentionally break the fourth wall. I was reading this book that I'm going to mention in my wrap-up in a couple of days. It's called Brightly Burning by Donne. This book was so YA in like the worst possible way. It also, the book thinks you're an idiot. You, the reader, you're a moron. I didn't call you that. The book called you that without calling you that. I'll show you why. Our main character, I think her name is Stella. She's an engineer on the ship. And something goes wrong on the ship. I don't remember, but involved her going to basically the circuit breaker. She pulls the panel off the circuit breaker. She looks at the wires and it's a mess. Then there's no one around us. No one. She's all alone. And all she says out loud to no one, wow, it looks like someone yanked out these wires as hard as they could. Hey, instead of telling us that someone yanked out the wires, you could have put some description and actual effort into it. But that's none of my business. I guess that's not really breaking the fourth wall. I misranted. It's when books think you're an idiot and need to grab you by the hair and point you in the direction you need to be thinking. I hate it. Loathe it. Question 4, intramural sports. What book were you assigned to read at school but ended up liking so much you couldn't wait to read it at night? Perfect example of this, Rebecca. I don't remember what little middle school me was thinking when I was assigned to read this book, if I was excited or not. Because, it's romantic suspense, it's gothic. And I was like, is this gonna be like Pride and Prejudice? Just a bunch of girls running around in dresses. Ew. But then I read it, and then I realized as I was reading it that I am an awful person for shipping the people I shipped and being okay with what certain people did in that book. I could not put that book down. It was just so good. I couldn't wait to get to the resolution, the plot twist. The atmosphere was perfect. I can visualize scenes. Because when you're reading, at least for me, it plays out like a movie in your head. I can literally play the book movie in my head out right in front of me right now. If you haven't read it, Rebecca's about this very young girl who manages to marry this much older man that she is in love with. And he loves her. So they get married, they go to his mansion, Manderley. But this guy, he had a wife and she died. Her name was Rebecca. And everyone loved Rebecca. Oh my gosh, Rebecca's the bee's knees. And our new girl, who by the way, doesn't have a name. We never know her name. She's just Mrs. De Winter. Her new last name. Is it De Winter? It's been a while since I've actually read this book. Is it De Winter? I'm gonna be embarrassed if it's not. We're just gonna Google this real quick. Okay. I'm right. Look at me, smarter than I look. But our new girl, the new wife, cannot escape the metaphorical ghost of the old wife. She's constantly being compared to her. Leftover signs are left around the new house she's moved into. And she just gets that overwhelming feeling that her husband will never love her as much as he loved his first wife. And some of the staff in the mansion just absolutely hate this new replacement wife and, try to make her leave dubiously. There's just a bunch to unravel in that book, I knew. Juicy drama. Love all of it. Number 5, running or jogging. Name a book that follows all the standard tropes, but you still enjoy. Grisha trilogy. You got the childhood best friends that's going to be a love interest. You got the love triangle. Best love triangle out there. You got the not like other girls girl, the mean high school girl, Zoya, all those fantasy quest tropes. But okay, I only liked that book because of the love triangle, but it was so good. Honestly, I don't even remember the plot of that book. We were after, for the overall series, we were after 3 items. Also, we had to save the country or something. I didn't care. I just wanted people to kiss people. Jazzercise, a book that you enjoyed that is outdated or published long ago. Oh my gosh, I don't have one. Wow. Does Rebecca count? I mean, it's gonna have to count because that's the only classic book I like. I don't know why I look off the camera when I'm thinking about stuff. It's not like I'm looking at anyone. Why do I do this? Maybe I'm just too afraid to look you guys in the eye because I'm a failure for not having a favorite outdated long ago published classic book. I don't like classics. Wait, there's one I do. I have it on audiobook. It's The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I love that book. I just haven't read it in a long time. Usually I don't listen to audiobooks, but now I'm realizing with most classic books, I have to have an audiobook because if you haven't noticed, those classic books, their sentences, just one sentence can go on for pages and pages and pages. I need someone with a British accent to break it down for me. Oh yeah, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button is this, you guys probably know, it's this kid who is born as an old man because he ages in reverse. So the older he gets, the younger he physically gets. And it's just him going through life. And it was awesome. I loved it. It's a very short story though. And actually, I think that's one of the most saddest endings I've ever seen in a book. And it's like, okay, what would you do? If you had a choice, would you rather die old, like the normal aging way, or would you rather age in reverse like Benjamin Button? I think I'd stick to the regular way. Okay, and last question. Trampoline class. I love trampolines. Like trampoline parks, that's where I go. What book do you absolutely love but is underrated? I got one. It's a little ditty called Imaginary Friend by Chbosky. This book is criminally underrated. It has a perfect 3.5 on Goodreads. That's actually good news because it used to be like 3.4. It has like such a spooky vibe to it. Like this is a story, and I love this book. Like I'm gonna reread it soon. This is about a mom and her son. They finally like escaped this really abusive relationship with her boyfriend, and they ran out of town. They went to this new small town, and she's like, we're just gonna stay here and just hide from our past. And you know, things start going really well. They actually managed to win the lottery, and that's great. Like the mom's able to like clear off some debts. She's able to get an apartment or a house for she and her son, and she can send him off to a good school. And I think his name is Christopher. It's Christopher. Christopher manages to make some really cool friends, and life just seems to be going good until he goes missing for 3 days. And you know, people are freaking out, especially his mama. But then all of a sudden, after 3 days, Christopher like emerges from the woods, like pretty much okay, but not, because now he has this overwhelming desire to build a treehouse. Not just any treehouse, a special treehouse that a plastic bag is telling him to build. A plastic bag. And it's Christopher. The reason I keep saying Christian is because this book, and this is why it's actually rated pretty low on Goodreads, is that it's like very dependent on Christian mythology. The Bible, the Gospels, everything. And to me, like, that's fine. I am a Christian. And also horror movies. Like, this is a horror book. A lot of horror movies, they're based on what stuff that happens in the Bible. And just a lot of people, like, going into this book wasn't expecting that. Because this book, it managed to, like, balance that line between being kind of sacrilegious and also just, like, being okay. Like, it's not too pushy, but I can get why people will say it's like kind of pushy on the religious aspects. But it makes sense to me because a lot of these characters like go to a Catholic church. It's very Catholic. And it would have been stranger to me if all these Catholic people didn't talk about their faith when they're up against all these demons. So that's why it's pretty underrated, but it's just a good spooky tale. Like there are times where I just felt like, ugh, disgusting. I love this book. I'm actually afraid that no one out there is actually reading this book because I've tried to go to the bookstore so I could buy copies and give to friends, and they just don't have it in stores anymore. So if your library has it, read it. It will give you a phobia of deer and plastic bags, but mostly deer. We don't trust deers in this house. And guys, that is it. Cheers to you for making it through this tag with me. Liquefied fruit gummies. Love it. I have a test in 2 days that I need to study for. Yet here I am making a video. Priorities. I have none. Or maybe I do have some. They're just bad priorities. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, stay reading my friends.